Hey everybody, Questwise here, and I have a very, very cool unboxing for you today. This is a package that I've been looking forward to getting for a long time. Not because it took a long time to get here, because it actually only took like 3 days to get here. But it is something, it's a game system that I've been looking at for a very long time. And it's from Firelock Games out of Miami, Florida. So if you know Firelock Games, and you probably know what this is, but they produce a game called Blood Plunder, as well as Oak and Iron and a few other ones. I think there's one called Blood and Valor. But Blood and Plunder is a sort of golden age of piracy game. In this box, I couldn't wait anymore. After having watched a lot of videos, after having like researched their website and different people's reviews, I knew I had to be a part of this game. I'm also twofold purpose for getting this though. If you watched a few of my other videos, you know I'm a huge fan of fallen madly in love with Pulp Alley, and I want to use some of these miniatures for Pulp Alley as well. So with Blood and Plunder, I'm going to be focusing on historical wargaming in a very strong historical sense. But for Pulp Alley, I want to do sort of pirate-themed, Caribbean-themed, golden age of piracy stuff with a little bit more of a fantastical bent. You know, sea monsters and undead pirates and that kind of stuff is what I want to be doing Pulp Alley with. But I just wanted to, this just came in the mail, fresh off the mail carrier's truck. I want to crack it open and show you what I got inside and talk to you a little bit about the game itself, and then how I'm planning on using all the stuff. Now, some of the stuff in here I know what's in here, but there's a few things that I have no idea, really. First of all, Firelock Games had a Kickstarter a year or so back for a starter set that was called Raise the Black. It's Blackbeard versus Maynard. It's a 2-player starter set, and it's all in plastic. Previous to that, they did all their miniatures in metal, and all their ships came as resin hulls with wooden masts and stuff. The plastic stuff is way cheaper. It's more accessible to people, but I couldn't wait for that. It hasn't been, the Kickstarter's fulfilled, it's done. I'm just waiting for it to hit retail, and it looks like it'll probably be after Christmas before it hits retail for us here. But I couldn't wait. I had to dive in at least a little bit, and so I got this. This is their previous 2-player starter set, and what it was is that you got to choose 2 different nationalities. Now they have a bunch of different nationalities you can choose from. There's the English, there's the Spanish, there's Dutch, there's French, there's the unaligned powers, which are, you know, Brethren of the Coast, i.e. the pirates. And what their previous thing was is that they would they let you choose 2 different nationalities, and they would give you a little starter force for that, as well as a rule book and a few other things. But I also included a ship because I really wanted a ship. So let's see what we have in here. So first thing I see right off the bat are some dice. It doesn't look like they're even in, you know, not even wrapped. They're just kind of laying in there, but still protected. There's lots of great paper and stuff in here. The game is run off of D10s, which is good, and I'll talk more about it once I get to read through the rule book a little more thoroughly. I'll talk to you about how the dice mechanic works, but the D10s seem to really work for this game, and I think that sometimes D6s or D10s work way better than D6 based games. A little bit more variation in scope, and you know the sort of statistical outcomes of things I think work a little better with 10-sided dice. So I'm gonna slide this box out of the way. And packing slip. All right, first of all, here's the boat. Here's the bark. So I bought a bark, which is it's mostly a transport ship. It was more for cargo than anything else. So it wasn't really meant for fighting all that much, but it did have a few small cannons on it. And this is the box. Looks like the cards, and so all the information for the card and stuff is on the back here, for Blood and Plunder, the game itself. And now, from what I understand, is that they don't sell, that doesn't come with sales. But I'm watching a lot of cool different things of how people make sails for these. But it does come with all the rigging, elastic line for rigging. It does come with the resin hull and all the wooden components. So let's crack it open and see what it looks like. I feel like it's going to be a fairly big boat. Now, the game is like 28mm, so to fit, oh yeah, look at this. This is just the hull wrapped in paper. Apologize for the crinkling noise. I didn't realize there was going to be so much paper inside. So everything is sort of within the hull. So these are the rigging components here. You know, laser cut wood. These will be the tie-offs for the different rigging apparatuses and stuff. The cannons are down in here as well too. There should be 4 of them, as well as some swivel guns, which were small cannons that were attached to the sides of the hull and were able to swivel, like the name implies. And there's the elastic string for the rigging. These are the masts, the wooden pieces for the masts. Very cool. And then this hull, like this. So resin cast hull, very nice. It's fairly lightweight. It's not super heavy, but the detail is very crisp, very beautiful. There's a couple little spots in here which I read about. These are where the cannons go. You do need to clean them out with a hobby knife, which shouldn't be hard at all, because and I know you can't see it on the video, but I can actually see light through the thin little you know, pieces of resin that are still in there. These little slots here are where the rigging will attach when it comes down from the mast. They'll attach to the sides. There's like a rigging mat, a post on there. And it's just gorgeous. Now this looks almost like an imperfection in the resin, but it's not. This is where the front mast and the flagstaff sort of sticks up off the front of it. You can kind of see it here on the box a little bit, but man, this thing is just gorgeous. So it's waterline level, right? So when you're playing with these ships on the table, that's the other great thing about Blood and Plunder I should mention first too. It is, as they say, it is a fully aquatic, or excuse me, a fully amphibious game. You can play games strictly on land, you can play games strictly at sea with battling with ships, or you can play both, where like a ship is attacking a port or something. So it is waterline, so it does look a little short, almost like a rowboat, but it's because most of the ship would still be below the water. The actual hull would come down pretty far here. You can see the rudder where it sort of meets the water. The masts will go in here as well, but these little doors, this was more of a transport ship. This was a cargo ship, and you know, lightly armed, because they had to protect themselves if they were traveling alone. But these would be the hatches to go down into the cargo hold. But man, it's beautiful. Sits on the table gorgeously. Now they do a variety of different ships, and I know that the new kit, the new plastic kit, will actually come with 2 sloops, which will be, you know, much bigger than this even. I'm very much looking forward to that as well. But that's that. There's a few more things I see peeking out here. Looks like probably, oh yeah, rigging guide, and then the card for the ship. Looks like that's it. So this is the card for the ship on the back. It gives you all the different traits, the upgrades that you can make to the ship itself, all its stats. And on this side, this is meant to put into a plastic sleeve, and then you can use a dry erase marker to mark off things like reloads of the cannons once they've fired, and all the damage that's done to the hull and the rigging and stuff as well. And then they give you this cool sort of how to put the ship together, right? So it looks like they've kind of multitasked here. Here's the bark that I just purchased, and then down below it is the flute. On the back is the galleon, which the galleon is absolutely beautiful. but it is a huge ship. It's like 2 feet long on the table, and yeah, it's several $100s. But again, a whole resin hull, all these masts and sails and stuff. Speaking of which, let's take a quick measurement of how big this this ship is. It's gonna be longer than 8 inches. So it looks like from the rudder to the very front, we're talking about 10.5 inches long, and from the water line up about 1.5 to 2 inches tall. So very, very cool. Excited, super excited to put that thing together and get it painted up and whatnot. But wait, there's more. So in this box, like I said, I picked the English faction and I picked the unaligned faction, and so I'm getting a bunch of blister packs here with figures in them. So this is an English faction. This is the Sea Dogs. They're all metal. They all appear to be single pieces. Doesn't look like there's anything I need to glue on, no arms or legs or anything. There's 4. It's a unit pack, so this includes 4 unpainted miniatures, but there's 5 in there. Oh, I'm assuming one of these is the generic captain as well too. And so it shows 4 on the back here, but I'm assuming that this one here in the middle is the generic captain that you would get as well. This one does not have a paper in it, a cardstock in it. So I'm not even really sure what these guys are, but that's fine. I can figure that out. So these are Dutch capers, a different unit in the game. Again, a unit pack with 4. There are 4 in this one. They are, like I said, I believe that's a Dutch faction, but they work for the unaligned as well, and I'll show you in the rule book and stuff the different things. Here's another unit. These look like Native Americans. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, they've got feathers, like headdresses and stuff, and very like woven like bandoliers and stuff. So some Native Americans. That's very, very cool. These are Indian fighters. So these are English, again, fighting against the powers, it looks like, against the Indians. Unit pack of 4. And then I have this pack as well, which is identical to the capers. Is this what this is? No, I'm not sure. And then there's 5 miniatures in this one as well too, so I'm assuming the unaligned captain is this gentleman right here. Once I get these all figured out and tooled up, I will definitely reshare them with you. What else do we have in here? So we have 2 card packs. So the game can it uses cards for activations in the game, and you can buy these sets, which are the sort of themed sets, but you can also use a standard deck of playing cards as well too. So here I have an English activation deck and an unaligned, or as you can see, pirates. Let's crack them open and kind of show you. They are literally just playing cards. You can use a standard deck of playing cards, like I said, and they including the jokers, because the jokers act as event cards. Very nice quality, a little bit on the thin side, but not too bad. It might be nice to sleeve these up, probably, but they're very nice sort of quality for as thin as they are. Nice finish on them, actually kind of slippery, like a good deck of playing cards. But there's an event card, and then as you can see, it has your activation numbers and whatnot, and then how many actions a unit can take if you activate that particular unit with this card. So if you were to activate a veteran unit, you would get 2 actions by activating with this card. So you got 2 of those decks. They should be pretty much the same, other than the way the back is laid out. The rule book, which I didn't realize was actually hardcover until I was watching or listening to a podcast today. but the full Blood and Plunder rulebook as well too. Full color throughout. Beautifully done. Very, very nice rulebook with lots of great illustrations and photos of the actual miniatures themselves. So here's some of the English units. There's the Sea Dogs again. English Militia. I'm going to see if they would actually show me a picture of the captain. And then the French units. There must be a separate section for captains. Yeah, there's the French commander. So, very cool. I can't wait to dive into this and learn as much about this as possible. But I also want to use all of this stuff, at least the miniatures and the ship and stuff, for Pulp Alley, utilizing this game right here. I'll show you get it in the camera frame, but utilizing it for Pulp Alley, because there's a lot of great stuff in Pulp Alley that just fits very, very well with a pirate themed list. But well, that's what I wanted to share with you today. Just a quick unboxing of something I got in the mail. Yeah, so until next time, I'm Questwise, and I hope that you all stay safe, and as always, please, my friends, continue to game on.